At the hotel, nobody understood the millionaire Chinese woman, till the black maid spoke Chinese, please. Someone read this, but the concierge waved her off, dismissing her frantic scribbles like trash. To the polished hotel staff, she was just another rich tourist making noise in a language they didn't understand. No one cared about the trembling hands, the darting eyes, or the urgency in her movements. Until a quiet black maid stepped forward, read the note aloud, and froze. Number, a name, a warning. Moments later, a scream echoed from upstairs. This is the story of a woman they ignored until it was almost too late. Welcome, story lovers. Where are you watching from? Hit like and comment your city so we can see how far this story travels. The Grand Oak Hotel was luxury wrapped in silence. Bellhops moved like shadows. Concierges smiled with polish, and nothing unexpected ever happened. At least, that's how it seemed. Among the regular flow of high-end guests, one woman stood out. Her name was Miss Lee, elegant, composed, and unmistakably wealthy. She didn't speak English, but her eyes carried stories. She floated through the marble halls with calm urgency, clutching a leather notebook she never let go of. The staff often rolled their eyes when she gestured or mimed her needs. Why stay here if you can't even communicate? One waiter muttered. Among them was Clara, a quiet black maid in her early 30s. No one paid much attention to her either until she began noticing the scribbles. Miss Lee left behind. There was something about them, something off. Clara didn't know it yet, but she was about to become part of something deadly. It started with notes, scribbled frantically on napkins, receipts, even the margins of hotel brochures, Clara found. Them during her rounds, always written in Chinese, always left behind. But never torn or crumpled, as if Miss Lee wanted them found. One morning, Clara saw Miss Lee arguing with the front desk. Her voice trembled with frustration as she tried again to explain something no one could understand. Staff looked at her like a nuisance. Clara hesitated, then stepped closer. She'd worked as a nanny for a Chinese-American family for 6 years. Her Mandarin was rusty, but not forgotten. That evening, Clara found Miss Lee alone in the garden lounge, notebook clutched to her chest like armor. In halting Mandarin, she greeted her. Miss Lee's entire posture changed. Relief flooded her eyes. She flipped the notebook open and pointed to a series of names, a date, and one phrase repeated. "He's here. He followed me." Clara asked who he was. Miss Lee wrote, "The man who killed my sister." Shocked, Clara realized the woman wasn't some anxious traveler. She was a witness, a hunted one. Miss Lee had flown across the world to escape, and now she believed the killer had found her at this hotel. Clara wanted to help, but when she approached management with a rough translation, they laughed it off. "She's probably just upset from jet lag," they shrugged. But the next day, a guest on the 10th floor screamed. A woman had collapsed, and her face matched one of the names in Miss Lee's notebook. The hotel went into a quiet panic. Officially, it was a medical emergency, but whispers told a different story. Clara, notebook in hand, confronted the manager again, but this time security was called. "You're overstepping," they said. This is a high-profile guest situation, but Miss Lee was missing. Her room was empty, her things untouched. Only the notebook remained, left purposefully in Clara's cleaning cart. Inside was one final message, underlined in red. "If I vanish, he's got to me. Room 1012. Clara stood frozen. That room was booked under a different name entirely. Security wouldn't believe her, but the police might. Styled praying it. Wasn't too late, because now she wasn't just a maid. She was the last person who knew the truth, and maybe the next target. Dear audience, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to give it a like. It helps. The police raided room 1012 that night. Inside, they found a man with multiple aliases and a record that stretched across continents. Miss Lee had vanished. But weeks later, authorities confirmed she'd boarded a flight under an assumed name. She was safe. Her testimony, however, cracked open a cold case involving international human trafficking. And none of it would have surfaced if Clara hadn't spoken. The hotel never thanked her. But online, her story spread. A black maid overlooked. A Chinese woman silenced. Together, they broke a wall of apathy and fear. Because sometimes the loudest truths are hidden in silence, and the people we dismiss are the ones who see everything. How many warnings have we ignored just because they came in the wrong accent, from a sour face, or in the wrong language? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and new videos. Take care.